Now, on to today's market movers with pro traders setting up for elections in the Eurozone.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm Jim Iuorio with Scott Martin.
Hi, Jim.
Okay, so on May 26th, the Europeans go to the polls to vote on different positions within the EU. But the takeaway here, right, is that there's a wave of populism. Is there a growing disenchantment with the EU? Are we going to see that in the elections? What's the risk?
I think we may, and I think the markets are probably going to get ahead of that to some degree, Jim, just with some shifts in some of the elections that we see as far as the results go, and therefore there seems to be some fear coming into this election that things may turn out unexpected.
What markets feel it the most?
Well, I think it's especially the euro, in my opinion, but this is one of those things, as we've seen with votes in Europe before, it does spread to other areas, and certainly maybe even the ES and the NASDAQ.
There's no doubt. I mean, the euro's been a one-directional trade, too, and that direction has been
not
down.
good.
Now, before we dive into our trade discussion, I'd like to point out that these are examples, not recommendations or advice. Scott's going to be talking about the euro currency. I'm going to be talking about Dow Futures. I'll explain why. Go.
Yeah, so Jim, you talked about the euro currency and that downward trajectory that it's had in place for quite some time now because of the fact that I just think
Amen.
Brexit and everything
Yeah.
that's been going on. Amen, yes. But just given the fact, too, Jim, that I think there's an interesting way to maybe look at how to position yourself in the euro currency leading into maybe these elections on the 26th. So specifically, Jim, as an example today, I'm buying the week 4 111.75, 111.5 euro put spread for 4 ticks. This trade risks $50 to make about a potential 262. Now, here's the thing. It expires on May 24th. The underlying, by the way, is about 112.38. It expires on May 24th.
2 days before the election.
That's right, because I believe that this fear of running up into this election is really going to be what drives down the euro currency. And it could be one of those things, too, that once the result is, whatever it is, it could be a buy the news type of thing. And therefore, the fear is all built up into the election, not after it.
I was wondering, and that actually makes a lot of sense.
Thanks.
Okay, good. And I like this trade. I like everything about it. I'm looking at the Dow Futures. I'm particularly looking at the micro here. And the reason is because I want a wide parameter trade here. It's lower notional value. I want to put something on, not be up at night. So I'm looking at buying the micro E-mini Dow at 25,700, placing a stop at 25,300 with a target at 26,500 on the upside. The reason I'm using the micro's a lower notional than the mini. I can widen out my take profit and my stop and be able to sleep at night with less of the emotion. Thoughts?
I agree, and I think that's another interesting way to use the micros in that expression because of the fact that whether it's in the Dow stocks that you may have positioned, it may be the ES, the NQs, you still have that ability to kind of hedge out with some precision as to how those positions are behaving.
Speaking of precision, when you have your the euro currency option spread on and it gets to expiration where you might have more deltas than you want, now you can use the micros to hedge yourself, the minis to hedge yourself, or the big contract to hedge yourself. Do you do that?
I think the micros are great for that, right? Because you saw my risk reward is a nice spread there. So as things tend to maybe perhaps go my way, I think hedging it out with some of the micro exposure is a way to take off a little bit of risk.
That's what I love these micros for, and I've been using them just today. I've been using them all day to hedge deltas and options that are expiring today, and I really like that.
Great stuff.
Thank you for joining us on Market Movers. I'm Jim Iuorio, where we are helping to make you a better trader.
Check out businessfirstam.com to find out where to see our entire show. And don't forget to like, follow, and share Business First AM.